Welcome back to Bay Area Focus. We are going back in time for this segment. 75 years ago, to be exact, the Presidio Trust is opening an important exhibit about the historical significance of this site in World War II. And here to discuss are directors Blind and Karen Korematsu. Thank you for coming on the show.
Pleasure.
First, tell us about this new exhibit. It's called Exclusion.
Yeah, so it's a new special exhibit that we're putting on at the museum at the Officers Club in the Presidio. These special exhibits are meant to kind of really engage people with a piece of history that we feel is very relevant and can spark conversations today. And so this one is about the Presidio's little understood role in the Japanese-American incarceration during World War II. The piece of history that really ties directly to the Presidio is kind of the epicenter of this history, but it's still kind of a mystery.
Well, we do have some video, so a little sneak peek into this exhibit. Let's take a look.
The Presidio of San Francisco was the headquarters of the Western Defense Command. Beginning in 1942, Commanding General of the Western Defense Command, Lieutenant General John L. DeWitt, issued 108 civilian exclusion orders from the Presidio, implementing President Franklin D. Roosevelt's Executive Order 9066. These orders led to the incarceration of 120,000 Japanese Americans, targeting Japanese Americans on the West Coast, citizens and non-citizens alike.
Now you have to understand that all due process of law was denied. The 4th and 14th Amendments were violated. No one was charged with a crime. No one had a day in court. No one had access to an attorney, and that's wrong.
So we just saw a video that gives us a sneak peek of that. What can we experience in that exhibit?
Well, one of the things we're trying to get across is to help people really immerse themselves in this moment in time. So one of the first things visitors will come across is a very ordinary object, a telephone pole. We've dragged in a telephone pole. We've put up that extraordinary posting from 75 years ago with the infamous instructions to all people of Japanese ancestry. And we've juxtaposed that with a really haunting image of Dorothea Lange taking a picture on Bush Street here in San Francisco of Japanese Americans with their luggage lined up to be escorted onto buses by soldiers. And we really want people to kind of grapple with that. What if that was me in line? What would I have done? What if that was me passing by as just a neighbor? What would my response have been? And really start to get people kind of emotionally engaged in this episode in history.
And Karen, we just saw you in that video clip. What role did you and the Fred T. Korematsu Institute take in mounting this exhibition?
Well, the Presidio Trust asked us to collaborate on this exhibit, to bring in historical context and also the personal side of the incarceration that a lot of people don't even understand.
Can you tell us the story of your father and his connection to the Presidio?
My father was Fred Korematsu, and he was born in Oakland, California, and grew up just like any other American kid, attended Castlemont High School. My grandparents had come over from Japan at the beginning of the century, during the century, and he was in sports and even tried to enlist in the military before Pearl Harbor, but was denied because he was of Japanese ancestry. And that really hurt him. He didn't understand that kind of treatment. So when President Roosevelt issued Executive Order 9066 that gave the military the authority to forcibly remove anyone of Japanese ancestry from the West Coast. And of the 120,000 people, 2/3 were American citizens and half under the age of 18. My father thought this was wrong, because why should he go to prison when he had committed no crime? So
he wanted to fight for this country.
He did, and he really believed in this country and the Constitution. That's where he learned that he had rights, or thought he had rights, as an American citizen. And so when the executive orders were issued, he couldn't understand it because he was an American citizen. And so he refused to report to the Detention Assembly Center, and then was spotted in San Leandro and arrested about 30 days after everyone else had left. Then he was moved around from jail to jail and ended up in a federal jail in San Francisco. Mr. Bessick, who was then the executive director of the American Civil Liberties Union, visited my father in jail and was looking for a test case. And he said if he would ask my father to be a test case, and if need be, he would go all the way to the Supreme Court. And that's what they did.
Well, thank you for sharing that story, and this exhibit sounds wonderful and something to really learn from. And again, it runs April 1st through March of next year. So go check it out. For more information, just log on to presidio.gov. That's it for our show this week, but we will be back with more Bay Area Focus next week. Have a great day, everyone.